Marsh, Randolph, Shabazz, Tibbet, Council President. We have a quorum. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have invocation by Reverend Roderick Knox, Second Baptist Church, Atlantic City.
Let us all. Let's Let us all pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your mercy and your grace. We thank you, God, for all that you do, all that you're doing, and all that you are about to do. We pray, God, for everyone in this place, in attendance, from the front of the room to the back of the room, every official, God, everyone that has anything to do with Atlantic City. And we pray for this great city of Atlantic City, that, God, you would just bless us, keep us, watch over us, and continue, God, to have your hand on everything that happens in this city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law by the city clerk sending to the press in the Philadelphia Inquirer on January 6, 2017, and published on January 9, 2017, and for Star Ledger on January 19, 2017, and published on January 21, 2017. A list of the meetings for the Council of the City of Atlantic City, including notice of the meeting scheduled for October 18, 2017 at 5 p.m. in the Hank Piner Council Chambers, room 206, City Hall, 1301 Backrack Boulevard. And also a copy of said notice was posted by the city clerk on the bulletin board, main lobby, first floor on the same date. All of the aforesaid complies with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, known as the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Law, and NJSA 40:69A-179. This is a regular council meeting of the City Council of Atlantic City. Before we begin, please be aware of our rules in this chamber. All persons are to be seated unless all seats are filled, in which case you will stand against the wall in orderly fashion. We are asking that all gentlemen remove their hats. All persons are to remain quiet during these proceedings. This is so that everyone is able to hear what is going on. Please turn off all cell phones or set them to silent. No one shall speak unless they are invited to do so by the council president. Shouting, interrupting, speaking out of turn, or acting disorderly in any fashion will not be tolerated, and anyone doing so will be removed from the meeting. When and if you are invited to the microphone to speak, please state your name and address. You will be allotted 3 minutes for comment. Please respect the time for other persons and end your speech within the 3 minutes allowed. If it is your intention to ask a question of council, you will be permitted to ask a maximum of 2 questions. Your questions are to be clearly stated, and after the questions are asked, you are to take your seat. The council president will determine if the question can be answered and by whom. Finally, please understand that there will be no personal attacks or name calling. If you do so, your time will immediately be cut short, and you may be asked to leave. Reports and recommendations from the mayor. Ordinance numbers 22, 23, 24, and 25 were signed by the mayor on September 8, 2017. Council President, Government Committee report.
Bass.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, Planning Development had their regular meeting last Tuesday. Our results of that meeting are as follows on the agenda, and I would ask consideration of 570, 571, 572, and 576, 542, 586, and 587. And they are, in brief, 570 is a resolution asking for consultants for brownfield assessment program. That's no cost to the city. The next one is the awarding of the contract to municipal public, to Master Consultant for municipal public access plan, which is required by the state at no cost to the city. 572 is a resolution approving additional grant funds for the police athletic league in the amount of $2,000 from the CDBG grant. 576 is for a design program that is also a grant. We have an ordinance that I would call my colleagues' attention to, especially about Belleville Avenue. We're all familiar with Belleville Avenue, unfortunately, as a place that the police and license and inspection and code enforcement have got numerous complaints for the activity there. This ordinance gives us a partnership with CRDA so that property can be acquired and demolished. 542 is a resolution to award a contract to DCO Energy, and that's for microgrid feasibility study. Again, that's from a grant from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, and that is to help us, if we are unfortunate to have a storm again, to have the capacity to work with that in terms of sustainability. 587 is a resolution authorizing the Atlantic City Police Foundation to accept the donation of property. What that is going to be, the Atlantic City Police Foundation, which is a charitable organization that helps fund activities outside of the budget for the police, wants to build a building on the boardwalk to hold their vehicles and to be a police substation, which of course will help public safety for all of our citizens, and I would encourage us to support that. And last but not least is 586, which is asking the council to accept the bids for the recent land sale that we had in the property, and the amount of money that was that we have gotten from that. Mr. President, I'll have the potential to get from that totals over $1 million, and I would ask my colleagues to support that.
Randolph.
Yes, Council President, Public Safety, Public Works Committee met Wednesday, October 11th. That meeting Director Durkin is working on an ordinance to separation of replacement of recyclables, but that won't come up until November, so I just want to kind of bring it up with the council. The management of Still Fair is requesting to rent a space to store trailers at Bader Field. Freehold, of course, he was at that meeting. There is a fee involved, and the fee will go to the city. I can't quote that fee, but if you need to get it, I will have someone here to give you the non-historic fee. I see you looking at me, got a question?
Yeah, I do. I know that. You're very observant. I just want to bring to your attention, in the past, they've all been putting them right up against the fence where the street is, and it makes the neighborhoods look like hell. If we could pick an area that's out of the public eye, I was going to suggest you to suggest that to them. To put it in an area that doesn't look so bad as you're pulling in and out of the city there.
Yeah, we know Freehold, of course, he is the superintendent there, and I will definitely make you aware of that.
Okay.
I was looking for the update on our residential parking uptown, Main Avenue. The lines haven't been painted. The signs haven't been put up, but hopefully before the next meeting they will. I'm told that they will definitely be put up. The flag and lighting has been installed at Browns Memorial Park. This is one of the larger flags. We were looking for a larger flag that did come out of my committee. The public safety agreement to extend the contract of exceptional medical transportation for ambulance service for 30 days at no cost to the city. That's good. Competitive pricing agreement with Frankfurt Police Pricing System for rental of police vehicles. So they're no longer going to own vehicles, we're going to be leasing them. If you follow the details, we got the cheapest vehicles. And we got a resolution on tonight for the fire department to receive education and training grants and that came under the revenue and finance. I think Chief White advised the committee that it would receive a request to post drug-free zone signs in the area of the Gateway Gate. So, Captain Sarkos provided us an update on the recent efforts of law enforcement to arrest suspects who sold bombs and weapons to undercover police officers. That was the last but not least. commend them on a great job. That's my report.
Marsh?
Yeah, Human Resources Committee. Today and yesterday, we had a fair, health fair for citizens, employees to go to. Core benefit reps, medical, dental, prescription, and vision. The voluntary fair was held in the library downstairs. Benefit counselors will be available for one-on-one counseling and benefit review. Employees can sign up electronically or one-on-one counseling. The open enrollment period is from October 16th until November 2nd. There will be some changes in the Direct 15 as opposed to Direct 10. There's elimination of the stipend program, elimination of the dental and vision opt-out, which is a savings to the city. And also we have the CEB is on the agenda for payment. I think one thing that's important that most would like to hear, that our EAP program, the quarterly usage has increased. And hopefully we can serve the people who are having problems in different areas doing this in this program. Open positions in the city is tax collector, seasonal border operators, special law enforcement officers, class 2, data, part-time data entry, and courts and stuff. I'd like to thank once again Department Head Doreen Tucker and Yolanda Layton for their diligent work, and the HR department in general for the diligent work they continue to do for the staff and for the rest of Atlantic City in general, where we save money and also staff and be updated on the different things they need regarding their health benefits and other things as they work for the city of Atlantic City. Thank you.
Kurtz?
Health, Human Services, Licensing and Inspections and Technology Committee met. Among the items under licensing and inspections, a follow-up from the last council meeting. We were discussing doing a refunding of the mercantile fees for the crafters at Gardner's Basin per what was last set up in the dais. However, we want people to know that there is active work underway to try and salvage the crafters village that Councilman Randolph and others are involved in, the mayor. And so that is in the work. And so if they are successful, there will not be a refund of the fees in terms of moving them to another area. But if they're not successful, administratively, they'll be able to take care of the refund of the fee. So that will not require council action, but it is being addressed. There are several items on the agenda tonight for approval, including license renewals and a Jitney permit transfer. Among other items we discussed is we had some requests for people to look into what our laws are on people having chickens or pigs in their homes. So we were doing a code review of how the city treats those items and how other towns like Newark and Tabernacle Township do. The new director of Management Information Systems and Technology came to the committee and went through a list of all the active technology projects. We're looking forward as a committee to working very closely with him and his staff to hopefully show the public more deliverables as we upgrade the technological infrastructure. And we should be, not on the dais, but we should be streaming live next meeting. So effective in November. Something we passed last year. Technology looks like it's just about there for our November meeting, where you would be able to watch the meeting live online. Or if you're working during that time, you could watch it archived at your convenience, just like you normally watch TV. That is my update. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Revenue and Finance. Our fire department has received in excess of $1.5 million in grants, and it comes for training and fire prevention. Got a big one from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in the amount of $672,000. Our third-party liability and workers' compensation claim, prior before AmeriHealth, we used a firm called Skybo Associates. It was bidded back out. They're now doing business as Qual Links, so they now have the city services. And also on the agenda, you'll see a transition that we extended AmeriHealth for 30 days. As far as other items on revenue and finance, we have a grant for police body armor, and that's our report. What the agenda?
Communications and petitions are listed on the agenda and will not be read into the record. We will come to resolutions of recognition. Resolution 535 is a resolution recognizing top readers in the 2017
Paul, sorry, I apologize. Are there any items on the resolution of recognition where people aren't in attendance? Does any of you guys know? So we can group them. Okay.
Mr. President, 537 and 538 are not here. Students are welcome to church.
Okay. And what else? You have something? It's not here as well. All right, may I have a motion to group 537, 538, and 539?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Call the vote.
Chang,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Gillian,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
and Council President.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative for a group of 537, 538, and 539.
And I apologize, 553 should have been included. That was handled at the ceremony last week. So may I have a motion to vote on resolution 553?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Kurtz. Questions? Call the vote.
Chang,
Yes.
Delgado, Gillian,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
and Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative.
Now we follow the agenda.
I just want to bring to your attention on the front of the agenda is the 2017 best practices. Any comments, questions? We will have resolution 535, and this is a resolution recognizing top readers in the 2017 library summer reading program.
Move it.
May I have a motion? Moved by Shabazz, second by Randolph.
Whereas the Atlantic City Free Public Library hosts a summer reading program. Teen library volunteers are crucial to the success of the summer reading program and work diligently to support literacy initiatives on behalf of Atlantic City youth. This program helps children and teens keep active minds and retain learning between school semesters while providing a safe and educational environment. And whereas the 2017 summer reading program theme was Build a Better World, throughout the summer, the library offered a total of 94 programs which were attended by 2,988 children, teens, and parents. The program included a series of STEM workshops, crafts programs for children and teens, a Lego club, literacy programs, and a teen entrepreneur series. And whereas this summer, Atlantic City youth read a total of 1,188 books. The readers were divided into 3 categories: teen readers, age 13 to 18, independent juvenile readers, aged 7 to 12, and emerging readers, up to age 6. And whereas 9 readers have excelled, showing remarkable dedication, having read a combined total of 262 books. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Atlantic City hereby recognizes and congratulates teen readers Audrey Chowdhury, age 13, member of the library's Teen Advisory Group, for reading 62 books. Yawar Khan, age 14, for reading 27 books. And Asia Mohammed, age 16, for reading 16 books. Independent juvenile readers, Rohan Rizwan, age 12, for reading 49 books. Orvin McCoy, age 10, for reading 51 books. And Med Ali, age 9, for reading 39 books. Emerging readers, Samreen Jahangir, age 5, for reading 16 books with her parents. Cheyenne Jahangir, age 5, for reading 16 books with her parents. And Zoe Perez, age 5, for reading 12 books with her family. Be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Atlantic City commends Anthony Gantinoso and William Gantinoso for their outstanding support and sponsorship of the Atlantic City Free Public Library's end of summer reading program celebration at Steel Pier. Okay? Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbetts? And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative, and we have presentation.
Everybody up. Hi, how are you? Could I have the mic? I just wanted to say. Thank you. Good evening. Bob Winkevich, Atlantic City Library Director. Members of City Council, Mayor Guardian, thank you very much for this resolution recognizing the top readers of the Atlantic City Library 2017 Summer Reading Club. It was a really great program this summer. We had, as you heard, we had a lot of children in the library reading and enjoying the library. Also, I'd like to just thank Steel Pier Organization. They helped sponsor this program this summer. In fact, the Steel Pier invited all the children to the pier at the end of the summer, at the end of the program, and let everyone get on rides and enjoy themselves the entire day. So it was really, really nice of them to do that. Maureen, did you want to?
Just to say a few words. Thank you very much. One of the things that is so important in libraries, public libraries, which are the most democratic of all institutions, has free access to everyone, is the loving support of our parents, our teen volunteers, and they're the ones that really help us to work with the children, to keep them growing, keep them learning, and I really just want to express my thanks to all the parents for their participation. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's right. Keep going.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
And there's one child that wasn't here, so I'll take it for him. Thank you. Okay, guys.
Council President, I'd like to commend the library staff in continuously supporting the community the way you do, offering children windows of opportunities that are not necessarily readily available to our children, helping them to grow and garnish more potential within themselves by learning immensely what it is through the books that you offer. And I know myself, my family were avid readers. We're dedicated to constantly providing opportunities for children to expand their horizons through reading and learning, and all the other programs that are available and supported by the library. And we got my committed effort to ensure that you got what you need to keep doing what you do, because you do an awesome job.
Thank you very much.
If I could very briefly, I'd like to associate myself with Councilman Delgado's comments, and for the next meeting, I'd like to present a resolution that I hope the council will adopt unanimously to ask our state legislators to work on the library formula, because there is a couple of glitches in the pilot program that's going to cause the library to have a significant shortfall, and I think we need to add our voices to try to help see if that legislation can be amended to cover that.
have Resolution 548, and this is a resolution recognizing Down Syndrome Month.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Any questions? Make it all council.
Whereas 1 in 693 babies born in the United States is born with Down syndrome. Whereas people with Down syndrome are active participants in educational, occupational, social, and recreational circles of the community. And whereas Down syndrome occurs in people of all races and economic levels. And whereas people with Down syndrome have an increased risk of certain medical conditions such as congenital heart defects, respiratory and hearing problems, Alzheimer's disease, childhood leukemia, and other diseases, many of which have now become treatable. And whereas quality educational programs, a stimulating home environment, good health care, and positive support from family, friends, and the community enable people with Down syndrome to develop their full potential and lead fulfilling lives. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Atlantic City hereby recognizes the National Down Syndrome Society's October 2017 celebration of Down Syndrome Month. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado? Gilliam?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative.
Thank you for passing this resolution of having October be Down Syndrome Month. Two things. I'm sorry. Thank you. Two things that I think are important going forth are education and inclusion. Just as we advocated for people with disabilities to be educated in their own district with their least restrictions in their neighborhood schools, so I think educating the public at large about people with Down syndrome will only improve their chances of being assimilated into every part of everyday life. The last thing people with Down syndrome want is to be labeled as special. Honestly, they want to be included in society as contributors, as assets, and not as a drain, as people to be pitied. I believe that people with Down syndrome absolutely make our communities a better place. By having any person with a disability in our workplaces, they make the environment more sensitive, more compassionate, and more motivating. They have something very valuable and tangible to offer. We need them being active members in our communities just as they need us to include them. To be a society that prospers, we need to live virtuously, and that is exactly what we witness and develop when we are educated and include people with Down syndrome in every aspect of our communities. Thank you so much for passing this resolution.
No, the new business.
Council President, if you don't mind, I'd like to suspend the rules to bring for 544. This resolution to support humanitarian effort has to do with how Puerto Rico was dealt with, how Texas has been dealt with, how Atlantic City was dealt with the same.
We'll do that, we agree. No, we can do this one really quick. That's what I was on. Just for the public record, items were placed in this council chamber on the council dais and the administrative tables, and the new business agenda, the revised agenda, has been mysteriously missing. Please keep in mind, not blaming anyone being the perpetrator of the act, but this chamber is both wired for sound and video. So just, don't do nothing, to prevent the city's business from moving forward. It caused a tremendous inconvenience to the clerk's office and we want to get by it the best way that we can. So, you ready, Paul? Yes, whatever number the class. Yes.
Resolution 584 is a resolution to honor and recognize My Care, C-A-R-E Mentoring Program.
May I have a motion? Moved by Shabazz, second by Delgado.
Whereas Shalonda Austin, Executive Director of In My Care Mentoring Program, Inc., founded the mentoring program in 2014. The program focuses primarily on an acronym, C.A.R.E. Inc. Founded connecting, aligning, restoring, and empowering for girls ages 9 to 18. And whereas young ladies participate in weekly activities and group sessions to improve their confidence and motivation, a learning environment is created which is a valuable resource to young ladies, aspiring mentors, and the community at large by way of our community awareness luncheons, youth expos, week-long etiquette workshops, banking workshops, girls' conference, community career nights, a true love waits ceremony, and respect factor sessions. And whereas each week a variety of other programs are offered, such as a book club, movie nights, guest speakers, and planned dinners. And whereas the annual Black Girls Rock, parentheses Jersey style, was modeled after the television ceremony using local unsung heroes. This is very important for the young ladies as they get to hear and see from women who have overcome obstacles but persevered to obtain their goals. And whereas the Council of the City of Atlantic City wishes to congratulate Shalonda Austin and the following honorees: Shalyn Neal, Michaela Lewis, Harry Bethia, Kia Payne, Deborah Brown, Kelly Kors Averly, Jamaica Moore, Yolanda Melville, Esquire, and Nicole. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council hereby encourages CARE mentoring program to continue the confidence building and as they experience the 3rd annual Black Girls Rock Jersey style program. Okay? Excellent. Yes.
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative and 10 hesitation.
Just so we all on the same page, we're gonna have words from Ms. Shalonda Austin, and Ms. Austin, you can introduce each of the honorees so everyone can get their just due, okay? All right, thank you. Ollie, everyone come up and you can spread across the front. Face this way. I don't think we're too bad to look at, right?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank the City of Atlantic City for acknowledging the In My Care mentoring program. I would like to thank everybody who has been instrumental in making this program function. We function out of pocket and we have been doing it, we are going on 4 years. So I would like to thank, first of all, I would like to thank God, first and foremost. I would like to thank the parents. I would like to thank Councilman Kareem Shabazz. I would like to thank the Smalls, both Marty Small and Dr. LaQuetta Small for their help. I would like to thank the Housing Authority's Director, Tom Hannon. I would like to thank Connecting the Dots. I would like to thank all of those who thought it not robbery to lend a hand to help. Today, we have with us the Executive Assistant Director, Ms. Yvonne Sutton. I'm going to start with the people that are here today. So we did Black Girls Rock and we honored the women of our community that are doing excellent work. And so I'm going to start on this side. I want to acknowledge Ms. Tiana Cannon. Ms. Yolanda Melville. Ms. Michaela Lewis. Miss Terry Bethea. Volunteers, Ms. Andrea Nelson. And I would also acknowledge my husband who's in the back, Mr. Perry Carter Day. For all of his assistance.
All right, Ms. Austin?
Can we get a group
Ms.
shot?
Austin?
Yes, yes?
We have a plaque there for everyone.
Okay.
So, okay? Congratulations,
Thank
job
you.
well done.
Thank you.
We're gonna do a group shot, everybody.
Okay.
They're all the same. Okay. We don't. We don't. They all the same. You have yours?
We're gonna do a group shot. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, ready, right here?
Thank you.
You were honest with you.
Let them all get together in front, and then the council stand behind. Is that good? Yeah, okay, all right.
And that white jacket works for us.
Yeah, that's okay.
Get everybody, all the award winners up front, and council can stand behind. Okay, that'll work.
Sneak under here. Hey, Mike, I got one of my associates up there, the one in the white jacket.
It'll be reading next summer. Everybody? All right, I can't see, and one gentleman in the back there. There you go. We have to zoom in on this. Right here, everybody. Pretty good looking group. Okay, I got it.
Good job.
Well done.
Let me see your plaque. Don't leave, y'all. We want to take a picture. We need to take a break.
Councilman Delgado wishes to move up resolution 544 with your permission.
Yes, not a problem. Get a motion? Get a second? Moved by Gilliam, second by Tibbetts.
This is Resolution 544, and it's a resolution of support for humanitarian relief efforts in areas devastated by natural disasters, storms, and other catastrophic events. Whereas in the wake of natural disasters such as Hurricanes Irma, Jose, and Maria, many have lost the comfort and security of what they once knew as home. And whereas the needs of our brothers and sisters in such devastated areas as Houston, Florida, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico have experienced widespread destruction, which has changed life as they once knew it, which left over 1 million people without power. Hurricane Maria was the 5th strongest storm ever to hit the United States, and the strongest to hit the island in 80 years. Infrastructure, energy distribution, and communication systems were crippled in apocalyptic proportions. And whereas natural disasters have increased substantially in recent years, there has been a tremendous rise in the number and type of aid responding to such disasters, whether international, military, private individuals, or nonprofit organizations. Though the government of the affected state has the primary responsibility for citizens, as a humanitarian effort, relief and response should be provided with neutrality and impartiality. And whereas the Council and the City of Atlantic City supports efforts to eliminate the barriers to the entry of food, goods, water, and people, organizations to coordinate and manage distribution of necessities in cooperation with the locally affected governments. And now therefore be resolved that the City Council of the City of Atlantic City supports the need for pre-disaster preparation, a streamlined approach to trauma experienced during a disaster, the long-term rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts needed, the proper utilization of resources, and the importance of a responsive and effective support system, including a first aid, hospitalization, and mental health treatment plan, which reflects responsible government. Rebuilding should not be met with resistance and bureaucracy. As a governing body, we should be vigilant in helping those affected to become whole again in every possible way. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Gilliam?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
And Tibbetts?
Yes.
That's 8 in the affirmative.
Seven.
I'd like to just make a brief statement with regards to the resolution we just passed. It is with deep sorrow that we even have to come across these statements like we just made now. Instead of being an automatic thing, we forget that there's human beings in the United States suffering from things that they had nothing to do, things that no one would want on their worst enemy. But yet we bicker and we fight over idiotic things. As people continuously struggle to look for help, to the smallest degree, as in just a clean bottle of water. We have corporations that throw millions of pounds of goods away freely. Even in this town, the casino industry, that throw away food continuously. How some of us in our homes throw away food continuously. And you got people like in where my people come from, Puerto Rico, barely have what little they can find left behind. Families that have yet spoken to their own families because communication's been down for 3 or 4 weeks. And while we play politics and games in front of TVs and cameras and things like this, they want to belittle numbers saying 30 lives, only 30 lives died. When in actuality, we know that over 2,000 people have perished, just alone in Puerto Rico. Now add that again. Puerto Rico doesn't have the benefit of having roads, bridges, as our brilliant president once said, there's a lot of water that separates us, a lot of blue water that separates the island. But we still having some tragedies in Katrina, in New Orleans. They still having some hardships. Still having hardships all throughout Florida. All the bureaucracy that gets involved. And I must just say, I have to add to it, we're still struggling from Sandy. And it really, it's a saddening reality that some of us truly don't care about people suffering.
That's right.
So I'm ashamed that we have a society that is so selfish and so self-centered that we can't do without the title and gain of popularity and finance and money and dig deep and put in the hearts and spirits for other people. But I'm very also proud and happy and thankful for all the individuals all over the planet that show so much care and love and support. There's people in Haiti still don't have homes. Then you have people from all over the world helping them. Puerto Rico, we're struggling. But as we say, Puerto Rico, se levanta. We're going to rise. And just like you see here in Atlantic City, we're still trying to fight this battle against Sandy and the government that we have right now in the state of New Jersey. The 800-pound gorilla ate really well off Atlantic City and still continues to eat really well off Atlantic City. And we're going to keep fighting that 800-pound gorilla until we can make things whole in Atlantic City. And it's a shame that we have to have small little pieces of paper to say we care when we should show it by example. Forgive me.
In support of our council colleague, Mo Delgado, and the people from Puerto Rico, and all the people who have lost their lives in the tragedies of Hurricane, I would like to now ask for a moment of silence. Thank you.
We are at public comment.
Director Stinson. Director Stinson. Can you pass him over?
First up is Sasha Lemons.
Sasha Lemons, going once, going twice. Next speaker, please.
Trayshawn Rock.
Is there anyone here named Trayshawn?
Yes.
Trayshawn,
Yes.
what's your last name, please?
Ramos.
Ramos, thank you. That's a mic.
You want to come up here? Okay. So I just start off. All right. Hi, I am Trayshawn Ramos, and this one? Okay, I'm Trayshawn Ramos, and I am from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Ever since I was younger, I am 17 years old. Ever since I was younger, we came up with programs that was helping for young kids to get them off the streets. But ever since, and I had took a little leave, went to Georgia for a minute. I just came back, and I noticed everything that we had is gone. Now you're seeing kids all over the floor, all outside, just doing all types of stuff, getting locked up, getting shot. It's crazy, like for real. And y'all saying y'all helping us, but really how is y'all helping us when y'all taking the money that's supposed to be supporting us? I honestly don't understand that. To be honest. Y'all say y'all want more for the kids that's coming up, a better future and all this, but when y'all taking the money from us, I don't see no future at all. Honestly, me right now, I don't see a future in Atlantic City. 10 years from now, I actually think that everybody here is gonna be outside sleeping on the floors, probably dead somewhere. Honestly, we got kids out here that's actually, just for example, we got kids out here that's actually want to do something that's actually worth doing. That's gonna actually get them off the streets. All right, we got kids out here that want to play basketball. Where they gonna play? They got the courts down. They have nowhere to go. We got kids out here that can't eat. Y'all had places for them to go to eat, but now y'all cutting the money. Where they gonna go now? We got kids out here that want to actually make music that's actually going to actually have something to say, to express themselves. But where are they supposed to do that at? Y'all taking money from them, which is really messed up. That's crazy, honestly. And trying to be respectful. Okay. Anyways, y'all giving. I noticed that lately y'all been y'all giving money to the libraries. Okay, that's cool. But not everybody can actually be in the library. Not everybody have the opportunities to do what other kids can do. So I don't really see the point. If y'all gonna actually help somebody or help anybody at all, y'all should be giving money to the kids, giving money to places that's actually gonna help kids in need, period. Not just one certain person because they can afford it or they got the parents that's gonna be behind them supporting them. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Kanaya Shepperson.
Kanaya Shepperson. This way. Kanaya, you face us. Thank you. Tap it, make sure it's on. Block hard.
Hi, my name is Kanai, and I've been with Mr. Joking for 6 years, and I've been with them because they told me that they keep me safe and get me off the streets and stay out of trouble. We've been to Connecticut and Rhode Island for competitions and out of state law.
Take your time.
Our boy, we practice often and we
So sorry,
Okay. All right. That's okay.
Thank you.
Tom Forkin.
Can someone check the batteries in the mic or make sure it's on, please?
I guess it's working. All right. Tom Forkin, 819 North Massachusetts Avenue. Everybody speaks about what Atlantic City's greatest asset is. Some people think it's the boardwalk, other people say it's Bader Field, some people say it's the water company. Well, the greatest asset in Atlantic City, and I think we know, is the residents of Atlantic City, and especially our children. I understand, and I know LaToya Dunstan over the years. I used to teach her daughter at New York Avenue School, and she's done some wonderful things with this exclusive program that she has. It's my understanding that they got pushed out of their of where they were at because there were some things going on there that whatever. But it's a shame. Because we need activities for our children, we need structured activities for our children, and being an educator, I can tell you, and living in the city, we try to do the best we can with our surf school, and we give free surfing lessons and ocean safety lessons to the children as well. I think a few of the kids come down, and, but what she has done, I think is wonderful, and it should continue. I don't know exactly what happened. I know that they lost their facility. I know she asked the schools to help work with her, and Mr. Caldwell gave her a rough way to go, and that's unfortunate. But she continues, I think, and I would respectfully request that the council support her efforts in continuing the program for the kids, because our kids do need structured activity. They cut recreation. There's been cuts with the public schools about the children's after-school sports programs. There's no more, middle school basketball. There's no more middle school soccer. I mean, Marty used to run those things. They were wonderful things that we had, for the kids, and you did a fabulous job. However, those things aren't there anymore, and it's sad. So with that said, and I know Ms. Dunstan will probably speak more effectively herself on this issue, but, please support what the kids are doing, and maybe we could find them or help finance, their efforts in providing the services for those children, because that's really our best asset in the city is our kids. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Tom. You're absolutely right. Our children are our greatest resource, and I agree. I to support all of these youth organizations. Kathy Burke Irish Pub, and I'm here specifically to address my concerns about this latest bond that was passed that has placed the debt squarely, the tax debt squarely upon the shoulders of the Atlantic City residents, business community, all of us taxpayers. And I believe that this formula that is in place, that has been used, that is being used, that has resulted in these bonds that have been issued that places this burden upon the city residents, is a flawed tax formula. I don't know who put it in place. I know it was not our mayor and council, because I know from the bottom of my heart how dedicated and supportive you are of our business community and all the Atlantic City residents. And I thank you for your support through all these years. But to shoulder, for the Atlantic City residents to shoulder this tax burden is just absolutely unsustainable. I'm not up here speaking for anyone but myself, so I don't pretend to be speaking for anyone else, but for myself, my husband Richard, and the Irish Pub. As I said, it's unsustainable to go forth. We have to revisit this formula that has been applied. And I know there are outside influences, and as I said before, I know you want nothing but the best and our success as we go forward. But the casinos are not the victims. They control 80% of the gross city product, so they should bear the burden of the taxes. In addition to that, there are many other entities that don't pay their fair share or don't pay any taxes at all. There are large entities that aren't kicking into the taxes. And I know you are struggling and you're trying to keep things together. I know that you support us, and I thank you for that. But I think it is time that we revisit this flawed tax formula, to look at it, to revisit the 40 years ago when the referendum was passed, which was to restore and rehabilitate the existing hospitality community, our local businesses, as well as our residents were supposed to prosper, and the promises were made to us. And I think I can even go out on a limb and say my husband Richard and I are probably the only two names that exist on a liquor license that pre-existed this Casino Control Act that was passed. So I just ask you, can we revisit it, go refocus back to what the original intent was? As I said, I know you want what's best for all of us. I thank you for your support, but it is time now that the burden has become so cumbersome. We can't go forward. It's not sustainable. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Steve Young, and I'm here because we have some serious issues that is not.
Can someone check the battery, please?
I can speak loud. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
No.
Hold on.
You just heard about CRDA and the state of New Jersey and the taxes and the law and legislation from the state on down, which when it started, it talked about
the social needs of the community, economic development, as well as the housing. And it's a sad day that our youth is being put out on the street. And what I mean by that we have some serious issues that's bigger than any of you in this room, that we can all have in common that we need to be dealing with. And it's not about politics, but it's about policy and legislation from the top on down, and how the funds and dollars have been spent, but not spent on the youth in our community. Especially when it comes to the recreation. There's no way recreation should have been cut at all. There's no way people's jobs should have been lost. That's the fathers and mothers of these children that's out in the street right now, that's trying to survive so they can have a meal. There's a lot of children that don't eat in this community, with billions of dollars in this industry coming in and out. And I know we can point fingers at a lot of people, but I'm telling you where it's coming from. The way the law is written, the way the Constitution is written, it is flawed. It has not been benefiting the people that's oppressed the most, and that's our youth. So saying that, recently, the recreation, and it's a shame when young people get together, like the exclusive drill team and their parents, to do something for themselves that the city and the government should have been doing for them, such as a community center. But when they lift themselves up by their own bootstraps, you get a lot of jealousy and envy, and politics play a role. And when you say there's no funding for it, but you can fund everything else that leaves out of this town, but not our future. So if the youth is not the agenda, then there should be no agenda.
That's right.
We must learn to prioritize what we're doing in government and you as public servants. So in order to do that, you need to take a stand, and we need to take a stand with you. And we can show you how to do that if we only work together and get rid of the petty differences. Because we all are in this community, and we've been high taxes, high crime, our youth are outdoors, and right now they're out in the street. So I'm speaking here today to say, save our youth, because we don't save our youth, we're not saving our future. And if they don't have a future, no one has one. So we must learn to do something about that. And you play a role here, and that's why we're here. Because you can tell the state what you haven't done. And if you can't tell them, there's some young people in the community to tell them. No more government as usual, no more business as usual, until the agenda of our young people and their future is first. So I say that, and I'm going to conclude. Hear from them as they speak. Hear from them as they talk. Let's get together and try to solve this issue. But right now, we got so much petty differences and so much division in this community that it's sickening. And the children see it. Some of the adults act like gang members. And you expect the youth not to be gang bangers, but you all are gang bangers when you talk about each other in the public. And when you do different things. We got children, we got youth that's looking at you. Let's be in the right example. And I'm going to conclude with this. Big Mike once told me, if you throw a rock in a pack of dogs, the only one get hit, only one holler is the one that get hit. So remember that. That means if I'm not throwing a rock at you and you're not hollering, then you don't have nothing to worry about. But if you start hollering after this and go against our youth, we know you're the dog that got hit on the head with that rock. And if you're not taught, and the last thing I'm going to say, if you're not stopping the oppressor from oppressing us, then you become the oppressor. And that's what's going on with our community today. Thank you.
Oh, okay, I'll speak loud. I came to talk to the council and give them an update on the program that you had sponsored. It's going really great. But before I talk to you, I want to talk to Ray Sean. Because, Trey Sean, thank you. I hear you. And I have a STEM program. It's science, technology, engineering, and math for kids K to 12, grades K to 12. If you come there Saturday at the ACC in Atlantic City, we start at 9 o'clock. We teach kids computer science, where they do game design, app design. They also build and program robots. And our next session is going to start December the 2nd. And in that session, we're going to have flight simulator and drone technology. I would like to have you there, okay? So I wanted to say that. Our program is going well, thanks to you. And thanks if I can get kids like Trayshawn there. With limited recruitment under a short period of time, we were able to we have like 29 kids in our program. 17 of those are Atlantic City residents. And most of the kids, they started out with robotics, our biggest, but now they're into computer science. And they're doing design. We just let them stay. We have kids who actually stay the whole time. And so they're doing game design, app design, and they also are working very diligently to get their certifications in computer science. This Saturday, we will be giving out badge certificates from Carnegie Mellon University Robotics Academy to those kids who have earned those badges. But we will be doing them as other kids earn their badges. The badges will lead to them being certified computer programmers in robotics. The first part was robotics math. That was a surprise for them, but it's all game-based, so they did really, really well. I have this handout, and it just tells you a little bit about the various subjects and the percentages of the kids that attend. And then I have this bar graph. That's the different schools that participate in it. Atlantic City High School, that's the highest number. We have 5. We have 5. Then it's ACCS, that's the charter school. Pennsylvania Avenue, Richmond Avenue, ACIT, Davies Middle School, EHT, Leeds Avenue. Oh, you can't hear?
No, time is up.
Oh, my time is up already? Okay. All right. I forgot I gave it to you.
Did the city of Atlantic City help sponsor any of the Atlantic City kids in terms of training?
Oh, yeah. As I said, 17 kids. And that was like limited recruitment in a short period of time.
Did we help?
Oh, yes, you did help. Tremendously. And we had a good conversation with the dean over there. And so they're going to partner with us on aviation, criminal justice, and their pre-engineering as well.
So my next question is, how do you go about recruiting kids from the elementary school in Atlantic City?
Well, I'm going to, since the city is sponsoring them, we're going to now send out flyers to the school, to the principals, and also with ACC, we're meeting with the administrators up at high school.
Next question, how many slots did we sponsor?
We sponsor 17.
17?
Mm-hmm.
We asked 50. So can we get that number up to 50 for the good people? Because
Councilman, I don't want to speak for Dr. Bundy, but as he said, we had a short time.
I understand. I'm not saying that in a punitive way. I'm just saying that because this is such a good program, we want to continue to fund it, and we want to actually orchestrate a way that we can acclimate the kids at an earlier age. So by the time they're in 6th grade, they can be those certified engineers that we need to recruit. More importantly, we want to make sure that if we have the ability to be a conduit to make that happen, that's what we're committed to. And because we believe in your program, and we know that STEM is tomorrow's future in the days right now, we want to make sure at least we prepare and begin to prepare our youth for the global economy that they're not prepared for now. So I just wanted to thank you, and also I want to thank Councilman Shabazz for making sure that we did get some kids in. But our job is to make sure that you have an overflow of young people at some point.
You said 50? We will probably get more than 50.
Okay.
And we're starting registration as of this Saturday.
Okay, great. So as long as we have money that's allotted to education, and some of them aren't basically taking advantage of, the older kids aren't taking advantage, we're open to saying whatever you can get, we will find our way to help try to sponsor, because this is really life-changing stuff from the standpoint of making sure our kids are prepared. Like, because again, most folks say, okay, if jobs, technological jobs came in today, half of our children, half of the population would not be actually to get those jobs. What we want to be able to do is create an avenue and window for them to at least be prepared to get those jobs, because we want those folks, these young people, to stay in Atlantic City, because the more they stay, the more they invigorate the city with ideas. But I'm not going to go any further. I just appreciate what you're doing, and we look forward to helping you much more than we possibly can now.
Okay, thank you very much.
What's your capacity?
Our capacity right now is like 30, but I'm working on to increase the number of junior engineers that I have. I'm looking at maybe some of the high school kids that are in the classes as well. We're going to be using ACC. They're going to be doing service learning, using our program as service learning, so we will get some undergraduates as well. So we are trying to expand it. We will expand it, because I will get you your 50. I will get you your 50.
Because I'm sitting here watching, you're sitting here listening to kids,
Yeah.
exclusive, that don't have much to do because their doors are closed. But I'm a firm believer that if one door is closed, your door is open.
Yeah.
So we can at least get them in that second phase to allow them to participate in something until we figure out how to get them the structured place that they need to have.
Okay.
We have a STEM program at Cal, and we got about 30. And I'm happy that we have more than one, but it's for PAL members. But if someone wants to be a member of PAL and they don't have money, they come in. We don't, money's not an obstacle. I just want to let you know. And
That's
anyone
not
out
true.
there that want to get in
That's not true.
Excuse me.
That's not true.
Excuse me.
Anyone who wants to get in.
Oh, hold on. Can we please respect the speaker and people's opinions? If you signed up for public opinion, that's your time to speak. You want to conduct this meeting in an orderly fashion. Thank you.
I just need to let you know that we do have a STEM program, and anyone who wants to be a PAL member, is part of it.
Worthington campus.
That was my point.
Okay. Okay. And we do have the Explorers in our STEM Saturday. They're great. They're really great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Latoya Dunstan.
Good evening, Latoya Dunstan, exclusive drill team. No microphone is needed. Several issues. The fact that you said if you don't have money to go to PAL, they still welcome. Can you tell me who I need to see for that?
The executive director, Will Santiago.
Okay, because they put my son out. That's why I'm asking.
Well, they could have, if they did, they will correct.
But it's okay.
You need a microphone so you can be recorded.
It's not working.
For the program, for that.
Oh, just for that. How can the public hear me?
Just speak a little louder so everybody can hear.
All right, so as people have been speaking, our community center is now closed. We were open for a little over a year. From the day that we started, I don't know if many of you know, we fundraised in order to open up this community center. We held a big show, we fundraised, and we got the means to open a community center. The community center was costing me $3,000 a month rent, and then it went up to $3,200 a month rent. We were able to pay that until letters started being sent to the owner that lives in Florida, right? Saying that we the Atlantic City newest nightclub, we selling alcohol. If it don't cease, the property be taken over by City Hall, or if it don't cease, they'll be fined. These are the threats that were sent to the owner. So then I'm told that we can no longer fundraise, no parties, shut it down, stop it. But that was the kids. That was their activities. They didn't hurt nobody. Nobody got murdered. And I know when I went to the debate the other day, someone mentioned that crime rate went down 20% within the last year, which is true. Because the urban youth, the forgotten ones that's come from the village, Stanley Homes, Carver Hall, all those kids that don't go to POW or can't afford Boys and Girls Club or all those other programs, they were coming there. We fed... In 10 weeks, we fed 3,800 kids breakfast and lunch, and it's documented. We fed them through the food bank program. So we fed them, but all the other organizations would not feed the children unless they were members. They can't afford to be members, that's why they were coming to us. So therefore they wasn't being fed. They offered us to be able to feed dinner. So if you shut down our means of surviving, then what am I to do next? Because I do know that other places have been open since we've opened, and I received emails, which is documented, stating that I can rent space from them. So for me to shut down and to rent space from them, but how can they rent out their space, sublease as it was called, or anything like that, but I can't? So I need to know what's the rules set for? Who's the rule set for? Is it one rule for the urban community, and is it one rule for the group that's in the surroundings? I just want to know who is the rule set for and who making the rules, or what is it? I just want to know what's the problem. I've been fighting this fight for 10 years now. 10 years. Now I finally found a way to survive, and I still get shut down. So if somebody can just explain to me what is it that I'm doing, or who have I pissed off sitting up on this board? That's all I want to know. And I already know that it was already on Facebook that we were coming today. Everybody knew, that's why so many officers, okay. But one thing we do know is that the forgotten youth, the ones that live next door to me and around me, are hungry. They starving. We bought a little girl shoes today. Someone came to my house last night and was assaulted, okay? Sexually assaulted, and ran to my home because they don't know where else to go. And my home was the only place that they can go 11 o'clock last night. So now what? That's all I want to know. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not blaming anybody. Do anybody got the answers that can help me to know what can I do? Because we can't go into the schools and use the schools because they've been telling us no for years. We can't go into the All Wars Memorial Building because if they have a private meeting or something, we got to go. So where do we go? Where do these youth go? Where do they go? No answers. But then I'm supposed to remain calm. I'm supposed to remain calm and accept that. My children, my own children, are walking these neighborhoods and growing up in these neighborhoods. My own children. When we used the POW for basketball, we started a basketball program. We used the POW and we signed up 85 kids, and they made me pay the fee for all 85 kids. And then when we started getting publicity for basketball, we were put out. So where's that money? Can we get a refund because they ain't used it the whole year?
Anybody want to respond?
And I know they probably think I'm here to attack you. They probably think I'm here to attack you. I mean, people probably think I'm here to attack you.
Listen, I'm not worried about that.
But it's bigger than that. Y'all got to understand where my frustration come from. It's bigger than that.
Listen, there's
This center closed down under this administration.
Excuse me, Ms. Dunstan. Let me just say something. I don't care what people think. there's no reason to attack me on this or anything else. And I understand what you're saying. But who made the decision?
To send out those letters.
No. Who did you get a letter from that said you were to leave the property?
Not leave the property, not to leave the property.
Okay, well, whatever. Who you get the letter from?
Kaleem Shabazz.
You got a letter from Kaleem. Kaleem doesn't own the property.
He doesn't own the property, but Kaleem Shabazz oversee the planning and, what's the board he oversee?
Yeah, but I get
So,
planning and
it came from,
Miss
you asked me, I wasn't gonna say names.
No, but I'm asking you, that's not his property. He can't put you out.
Right, the letters were going to the owners,
Okay.
telling them to cease,
So the owner
put us out.
put you out?
Yes.
And where's the owner? You said Florida?
Yes.
What's his name?
I'm not gonna put that on the record. Cause that's,
I'm trying to find out.
right, I mean, I could tell you, but I'm not gonna put that on the record, cause that's personal.
Well, can you tell the business administrator, the mayor, who it is, so that way, we find out, what was the agreement?
That it was gonna be a community center.
No, meaning the agreement, like the parameters of the agreement.
The parameters
X
was,
amount of rent per month, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And,
then 6 months ago up more,
okay,
and we were doing that, and we were fundraising, we were having parties, kids' parties, but those parties in turn turned around and paid the rent. You understand what I'm saying? So then when you tell me that I can't rent it out to you, or I can't rent it to you, or I can't have these parties, you shut down my means of getting the money to be able to survive in that building. My own electricity got cut off because I was taking the money out my pocket. My car got repoed. That's why I'm mad. That's why I'm hungry. I'm trying to eat too. I live with these kids. I'm starving out here right now, and these kids don't have nothing, and I'm starving just like them because I was raised here too. Some people just showed up, but I was here from the inlet to the 6th Ward. I was here.
well, let me ask you a question. You said that you got a letter from Councilman Shabazz, and the letter stated what? Because he can't. First of all, people need to understand the role of a councilman. People think that we can technically interfere in administrative matters. We don't. There's some things that we just can't do, even though we do.
You got the power.
No, listen, hear me out. Meaning, if it came from the city, it can't come from a councilman to say that, you shut down. That's why I'm asking you, what did the letter say in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, the letter is going to be displayed in the press of Atlantic City.
No, I'm saying, tell us.
No, I'm telling you because I don't want to misquote the letter. The letter is going to be in the press of Atlantic City. It's going to be on Linda Cohen. We're going to make sure Philadelphia Inquirer, because they asked for a copy. We're going to make sure that all the media people, and you'll see the name and the signatures, what data was sent out and all that. And then you'll be able to go from there and say, oh.
You tell us on the record here.
I'm telling you on the record. I don't want to misquote the letter. It said that we were in violation of code, whatever the code was, right?
Code violation.
Right, a code violation. We were open after hours. We were selling alcohol.
Okay.
That was one letter. The next letter was we was Atlantic City newest nightclub. It's been numerous police complaints. People have been arrested. This is yeah.
All right, Director Finch. Yes.
Any of those things happen?
Ask the police. They be in there playing the drums with us. They be with us. And I think that you shouldn't, because we gonna handle it. I think you shouldn't say anything. I wanna. No, because I tried to set a meeting. I'm sorry. I tried to set a meeting, and I tried to speak with him on numerous occasions, and you would not. You did your police walk. You took the police past the building to avoid me, Mr. Shabazz. So, with all due respect, I'd rather not even discuss it with you right now. I'd rather just deal with the parties that's asking me questions, and you just stay out of it because you created it.
Please give us your best estimation of this issue.
I'm unaware of it. What I suggest is that we sit down and discuss it amongst the administration and find out what's taken place and what was approved, what wasn't approved, and move there forward. Right now.
But we're not there. We lost it. So now what?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we should do. Sit down and find out exactly the facts of what occurred, what the lease says, and what violations may have existed. I'm unaware of any violations from the code standpoint. I don't know about the police or whatever, but sit down and review the entire matter and then come up with a decision.
All right.
That's my suggestion.
Here's what I'm going to ask. Yourself, the solicitor, the business administrator, and the mayor, could you please take Ms. Dunstan in the hallway If you gotta schedule a meeting, do what you gotta do, but we just need to find out what happened, okay?
I don't want to meet with him. I don't want to meet with him. 'Cause I'll deal with him election day, Marty. I don't want to deal with him.
Maybe it's not for you. Who oversees CDBG money?
That's planning and development.
You vote on it, right? Mr. Marsh, you don't? Okay. I'm just trying to make sure.
Because what I'm getting at is, because CDBG funds are allocated for low and moderate income folks in Atlantic City, I have not gotten to a clear, concise understanding as to why not just your organization programs, but other programs like Ms. Bunnings and things of that nature, why we can't just definitively decide how we take care of our own with the money that's supposed to be taking care of our own first.
What, can I say this out of respect for CDBG?
No. I'm not saying that
Okay.
CDBG has or had not. I'm saying
Okay.
that because it appears to be an issue in how we have a lack of opportunities for youth in Atlantic City.
Correct.
In a myriad of ways. I'm simply saying that there has to be some kind of resolution moving forward to figure out how we address the lack of opportunities for the young people in Atlantic City. And I'm just asking, how much is available? Who do we begin to give that money to? And lastly, it should be looked at from a priority standpoint where it's local people get the money first.
I have the list if you need it.
I'm not sure, but again, I'm not trying to take a side.
It's understandable.
That there's a void in Atlantic City that youth do not get what they're supposed to have.
Correct.
And it's a problem because, again,
Or the
all of
seniors.
us are up here a byproduct of recreation in some form or fashion. So I hope that at some point there could be a resolution, because we don't really want to see you here, nor any other entity that's speaking about youth not having opportunities. So at least moving forward, we can try to earmark monies for organizations that do the things that you do and other organizations in the city that needs help.
Well, the problem with the whole CDBG concept, and you know, we wish that it could be as simple as we have $10,000 left. Here's some money. But as you know, and for the public who don't know, it's mandated by the federal government. So what happens is, in order to get funds for 2019, you have to put your application in 2018.
Right.
So some people might think it's just as simple when it comes to CDBG to say, okay, well, here's the money. It doesn't work that way. And that's why people encourage, I think the deadline is in October sometime.
October the 8th?
Yes, something like that, to apply for the following fiscal year. And reports are due, everything is mandated and watched by the federal government. So it's not as easy to just get money, because once those monies are allocated, it's up to the organizations to do exactly what they said they were going to do
With the funds, correct.
or they lose it.
Correct.
I just wanted to explain that to the public. So, but Ms. Dunstan,
My time was cut. One more question, please. It was cut. So,
your time wasn't cut.
yeah, but, question. Right, on the CDB, so who determines who get what amount and what organizations? No, I think so the public can also know. Well, can we say, can somebody tell me who Clarify is?
Clarify is an affordable housing program.
What, like credit counseling?
I think they do some of that, but what the goal is to rebuild Atlantic City's housing stock. So they do a lot of first-time home buyers, which, you know, some people have credit issues. They counsel them on credit, and they put people in a home like with a down payment assistance with things like that.
I'm only asking because they applied for $15,000 and they got the whole $15,000.
I understand.
That's
But
fine.
if you can do me a favor, please, all the top administration officials will gladly answer your questions. Thank you for your time.
No, that's right.
You want to do it?
I just want to say, for the record, I talked to Ms. Johnson because I got several complaints from the community about the level of noise and the fact that there were activities over and above the community center structure. And I talked to her about that, and that was the issue. I didn't send her that, but that came through the administrative process. But the point of the matter is, I understand what you're saying, and I feel for it, but we have to balance the needs of the neighborhood too. When community people, who are taxpayers too, who are residents of that area, when they say that people are loud, after hours, police are called, that's a legitimate complaint that the taxpayers have a right for us to respond to. And I responded to that and sent it through the proper channels. And that was what happened. Also, I pointed out to them that the approval that they got for organization was for a community center, not to hold a fundraising fund. Because I understand you have to raise funds, but you can't raise funds to the extent that it impedes the peace of the neighborhood. So that's really how we got there. And I feel sorry for her not being able to pay her bills, but I'm still saying we have to balance that with the rights of the taxpayers who have a right to have a peaceful community, who have a right to live in peace and quiet.
No
So
peace,
I'm
no
gonna say that.
Council President, it's okay? Go ahead, yes. With all due respect to my colleague, I know this situation is kind of difficult at times, what we asked, but I'm kind of pissed off. And forgive me for not utilizing, I'm pretty sure you guys have loved that word there. But I'm extremely aggravated at the fact that we continuously throw the recreation departments and programs that's supposed to service our children to the trash, to the ends, and we try to justify utilizing reports of this person's complaint and that person's complaint. When I know these individuals who've made complaints, they're only doing it for their own justification. When the entire community that was surrounding these individuals that apparently made the complaint take part in the programs that are there. In the senior citizen buildings that live just a block and a half of the Elliott House get service through the feeding programs. The community next door, right adjacent to it, can't have recreation programs because they don't have it there, so they service their children. Right around the corner, they service the entire community. Outside of that, they partnered with us in the different facets of programming that we've had, from giving 3,000 book bags to the community. Where was the complaints about that? When we were talking about servicing the rest of the community through the different efforts we have, from Easter egg hunts, from all the different programs we are, there's no complaints about that. But the minute someone wants to complain because someone who looks like them is out there having a good time, they get nervous. And fear has a tendency of superseding someone's concepts, or at least their comfort. And what we're doing is fearful of one another. These are our children. And we have someone who is not necessarily involved in the programs, don't know the impacts of these programs, can't see the outcome, the productive outcomes that these programs have, but yet and still we'd like to throw a monkey wrench in these programs. Instead of servicing, helping to ensure that we cause problems from the very onset. When code enforcement did not give them the time frame that they needed to do, did not do it in the time frame that we should, or we would give someone who's community official or community-oriented program, we seem to create more problems. And Mr. Finch, I know he answered my call one time to see what he could do to expedite them opening, and he did what he could, I understand that. But we understand that politics and politics play involved, and in this process, people who should not have been involved got involved. People miscommunicated avenues of revenues and created delays when they shouldn't have been involved in that process anyway. We had too many people utilizing the need that they had for support and preying on them, exposing the weaknesses they had, so they in turn would shut down. That's one of the mechanisms that we have too much in our community. We allow these mechanisms to get in the way, and our programs fail because we don't support them. And because a lot of the times these children look like you and I, we think it's okay, and we think it's the children. Someone had said earlier, and I looked at this video, and it was a point that was made. When we don't give our children options, we turn around and blame them for all the errors that they've done. We should be ashamed for that. We need to continuously give these children options. No matter how redundant it seems, no matter how blindsided, because we like to believe that we're giving them a lot of programs. We do. Do they deserve more? Hell yes. They deserve everything we possibly can. When I was raised, we had skating. Where's the skating now? When we had programs like volleyball, where's the volleyball now? We have the programs that fed them to. We had baseball leagues that were at Greenwich, right in front of Shore Park. We had baseball leagues uptown. We had baseball leagues in Chelsea Heights. We had another football team outside of just the Dolphins. So we had children that could stay in the city and not be run off to go to Absecon or somewhere else. We've lost focus to taking care of the most needed people that we need to take care of. It's our seniors and our children. It is said that we are judged by how we treat our children and our seniors. And let me tell you, we're failing. We're failing.
Yes,
Stop putting these barriers in front of these individuals and help them. Sometimes these individuals, like Toya, may not have the wherewithal and understandings for the full aspects of running a program. Instead of criticizing, get up and help them.
That's right.
Instead of being a part of their demise, help develop them as a program. Because the Boys and Girls Club was a person's idea initially. And that person picked up steam and found some support, and they became a larger program. Just like the PAL organization was someone's idea. And that initiative grew because someone else shared that same idea. So if someone has an idea to support our children, let's help them and stop getting in the way. Our egos and our issues that we think supersede our children are getting in our way, and our children are getting lost. The next time we bury a child, you look at yourselves, because that's who's at fault for that. When we can help to avoid for these children to get lost from the smallest things. The STEM program is one asset. We need to keep feeding that STEM program. The other programs that are church-based organizations, they're wonderful programs as well. We have Princess Inc. that does a fabulous job. We have Rites of Passage that done fabulous jobs. We have programs that are smaller all over the place that work in multitudes of debt and chaos to try to make miracles grow. Atlantic City isn't easy. These times aren't easy. But we sure as hell easy as hell to point fingers at who did it wrong. We all played a part in that. So we need to all play a part in fixing this. And I better not hear any more politics about this, because our children deserve more than that. Absolutely. It's not about who sits on the Republican table or Democrat table, because the children don't choose who they are.
That's right.
They don't choose to be Republican and Democrat. They don't choose to be from the West Side or from Uptown. They don't choose to be associated with this fraternity or this sorority. They don't choose this. So why are we choosing it for them? That's right. So it's our fault. Any children that live offshore get the benefits that they get because their parents care. And a lot of the money that's here goes offshore that should not be. So we need to keep reinforcing that money back into town. Whatever we possibly can with CDBG. Maybe we need to throw out some of these individuals who are in these programs and throw them out because they're not focused the way they need to. And we need to remind people of encouraging them. So we align ourselves to priorities, not the fictitious boo-hoo that Wall Street needs their money. Our streets need the money. And that's what we need to focus on.
Pick your heads up now. Go on, Mo. That's right. I don't think they heard you. Oh.
First of all, let me thank, is it on? I can. Hello. First of all, let me thank Councilman Delgado and Councilman Gilliam again for advocating for our children like they're supposed to. You know what I mean? You said it all. You know what I mean? I don't even need to get up here and say anything no more. You done said everything that we need to say. Except that just because someone looks like us, don't mean they for us. Don't mean they for us. And right there, we've been having a lot of years of that going on in our community where they advocate for someone else from outside of the city instead of the people in the city. We got that going on right now. And it's plain and clear that that's evident of how we've been living for a long time. And we got to stop living like that. If we don't have unity amongst ourselves, what are we going to do when they come in here and try to take everything else away from us? So our children are first and foremost, and I'm standing here today for the youth. I'm standing for LaToya Dunston. We got to reach down and help people and pick people up, just like he said. We can't continue stabbing each other in the back and throwing daggers and knives for self-preservation, for what we want in our own individual groups. You know, they talked about a lot of good things in here today. That care group, that's excellent. What they doing over to the library, that's excellent. How do we make that reach the kids and the masses in the community that really need that stuff the most? How does this reading program and the library program get the most? You know, I know Mr. Robert over at the library, he's open and willing to do so. But we got to start making sure we start opening the programs and have people don't know how to get involved. We got to go to the community and meet people where they at. We can't stand on the side and put signs up on the side of the road or put signs up in certain places of the building and expect people to come when we know the conditions of our community, that we don't know where those things are. You know what I mean? There's a lot of grants and there's a lot of opportunities. You got the STEM program going on over there at ACC. Who knows if that's going on in the community unless we go over there and reach down and really go after the people and pull them in. You got the PAL over there, the people at PAL, they standing right there at Stanley Holmes Village. How come they don't go into the village and pull those children out? There's a reason for that. You know, I mean, people don't want to really put the work in the programs and what they have to do at the end of the day. If you really want the children to be involved and keep them out of the streets, I was on Tennessee Avenue the other day, this weekend, and a couple from out of town was riding through the street. The kids have nothing to do. They throw eggs and hit the people in the face in the car while the lady's driving. The kids don't have anything to do. We got to keep them organized. CREDA's mission statement says that they're supposed to build community centers. Instead, they build community centers in Jersey City. Where are community centers here in Atlantic City? We got to go to and battle and play politics with the school board. A person over there don't like somebody on the council. And so now they don't want to open up the school, they don't open up the theater, they don't want to open up the pool. You know what I mean? Why do our kids have to go through these things? Come on, man, we got to do better. We got to do better. And again, I appreciate you, Mr. Delgado, for standing up, and Councilman Gilliam for standing up. Thank you very much.
Hello, hi. My name is Zakir Hussain. I live in 504 Pacific Avenue. I have been suffering for parking between Pacific and Massachusetts and Oriental and Massachusetts. We've been here a long time. We're fighting. We asking for helping us because around 6 or 7 houses, 20 family, every day having a suffering for parking. Because used to they say they make a 4-lane, 1 lane for the resident, 3 lane for traffic. But they close 1 lane, they make it for 3 lane for the traffic. So I hope you guys physically go over there, check, look like as if we are third world living in this area. I have some picture. If you want any councilman, anybody in administration, look at it. I can provide this. Thank you.
Excuse me, is there residents where they don't have a ramp to actually pull into the lot that you do use? Was that something that CRDA was supposed to do?
No, the lot is 500 block I own it, and 504 I own it. 502 CRDA bought it, and MNG Land Grove for the Northfield, they sold it to them a couple of years ago, and then I requesting this group to sell it to me, but they don't want to sell it to us. So that we thought if they're going to sell it to us, we're going to buy it, or you're going to give you for city for this land to us for $1. Then we can pay for taxes. Now CRDA bought this land, they don't pay any taxes. So this is the way the situation is, having a problem. So we have no parking between 504 Pacific Avenue, 102 South Massachusetts, 104 Massachusetts, 106 Massachusetts, I think it's 116, this is a 4 or 5 house. Every house is multi-unit building, 3 to 4 units. They live at 18 to 20 families. So each family has 1 car, so where are you going to go? And then now the city putting the meter everywhere. If you parking somebody, they give you a left and right ticket. I already have a couple of tickets. So if you have a $20, $15 ticket, we don't feel any bad. Now they increase for $51. So how does it look like? Because we are not making money. Everybody live in the city is under poverty line. So how are you going to afford it? I like to every gentleman, everybody else, reconcile, go physically check and solve this problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Before you sit down, you and I had a conversation about this law.
Right, right.
Because I and another person got contacted with you about this situation.
Okay.
That I am on Creeder's hand, so we have tried to address that. What I will do, I think that the next committee meeting, I'd like for you to come, and we'll sit down and go over it again to readdress it. This is the first time we've come to council in a long time. We've tried to readdress it, we will readdress it, but remember, I did try to get in contact with Creeder. They had changed personnel, so I'd like to try that.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Randall. Yeah. Because I know your expertise in the first ward.
Right.
Where would you find that would be adequate for them to be able to park? If we had our wish, like, because I don't even know where we can actually have them park besides the lot that he uses.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of difficult, because even if they did do something, they still won't have to walk about 2 blocks.
Right, and you're absolutely correct, because like I said, we've had this conversation, and I had tried to address it, then we had a change in personnel at Creeder. But that third lane, which is closest to the house, because Rebel Boulevard, which is closed.
Right.
You know what I mean? If there is a way, you have to talk to the city engineer, that's why I'm inviting him. We'll talk to the police chief, and the safety committee, maybe that third lane could be used for parking temporarily, because let's face it, the guidance says it's going to open, we've been waiting for a long time. So to me, this an idea right now, but I'll bring it to the meeting, we'll address it, and I'll address this body, tell you what we come up with, and I think I could get help from everybody up here. We will, okay?
All right, thank you.
I think the whole street is closed, and we don't know when it's ever gonna open again.
Right.
So that's a good step.
So who polices that road right now? We do, right? So can you find, maybe negotiate with the chief, allow them to actually utilize that one lane for
Because one of the biggest hassles up there, you go down Royal Avenue, the garage doors open, and they shoot through there, 2 cars, they shoot through there, and just the light, and shoot through there, so. Okay, thank you.
All right, next,
Karen Kelly,
Karen Kelly. Next,
Darlene Pettis,
Hello. How's everyone? Okay, you want me to use this? I'm here on a different note. In reference to the CDBG, I probably said it wrong. Our associations we applied for that grant 7 years. 7 years, we never received anything. We had promises, and I'm not going to point fingers, but we had promises. We opened the first consignment store in Atlantic City, if everybody know what a consignment store is, for the residents, with no help, no funding. All we do is fundraisers. We have gave 2,697 diapers, baby formula, and wipes to these residents in Atlantic City and county since 2007, with no help. Promises, promises. But we do it because I do have a strong board. We love what we do. But my thing is, like the CBG, how do you pick? How can we apply for something for 7 years straight and not get a dime? Not a dime. there's only 2 councilmen, well, 3, that's on this panel that's been to our store. 1 councilman came to our diaper drive, Councilman Shabazz, July 29th. That's sad. That is really sad. When voting comes, everybody out. Oh, you see everybody shaking hands, doing this. After voting, you forget about the little people. But the little people put y'all in office. And we should, as an association that's a nonprofit with a 501c3, we should be able to come to our council for something. Not say, okay, you doing a good job. Oh, we like what you doing. Oh, this look nice. You giving diapers, baby formula, cribs, bassinets, playpens. Brand new. Not one councilman. That is sad. Sad. But we keep it going because I'm not going to fail with something that's coming from my heart. We have too many less fortunate families in Atlantic City and the county. And we can't focus. Put in for grants. Okay, put in for a grant. Oh, Darlene, okay, you're doing a good job. Oh, we like what your board is doing. But you keep picking and choosing who's getting it. But we did it without y'all. Because we keep doing fundraisers. And if y'all don't believe in us, there's sponsors out there, there's companies that do. But as the councilman, that's sad. That is really sad, and I hit a button. On another note, we lost a great leader, a friend of mine, which I could call my friend, because Senator Whalen never missed a fundraiser, never missed a diaper drive that we gave. Even as sick as he was, he said, Darlene, I'm going to find you. December 9th, at the All Wars Memorial Building, we're giving a tribute and an honorary fundraiser. And I wish council would show up. Don't give me promises. Please don't do that. If you can't come, say you're not going to come. Don't say call me and don't pick up the phone. Don't say I have your back. And then when I see you, go, oh, okay. Just be up front with me. Be straight. I don't like nobody look me in my face and lie. Or tell me what you think I want to hear. And that's what I'm saying. These have been downstairs. Everyone's seen them. So I just wanted to come say that because I haven't been to council meeting because I lost faith. I lost faith. And that's sad because the residents put you in office and they can take you out.
November 7th.
So that's all I have to say.
Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt you, Darlene.
Oh,
I'm going to interrupt you.
I'm done.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody was speaking while you were speaking. Please, audience, we do not tolerate that here. We're here to handle the city's business. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all. I just wanted to give you all the flyers.
All right.
Dermot Jones?
I'm right here with you.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, leave it. I hope everyone can attend the December 9th fundraiser. Thank you.
All right. Next.
Yoko?
You want me to re-announce
Yes.
it? Okay.
Next.
I'm right here.
Hello, good evening, council members. Can I speak? Speaking the mic? Someone could have said that. Okay. Well, do I have to use the mic? Because I think I can. Oh, okay.
Talk loud, please.
All right. Good evening, members of City Council, councilmen, and mayor. So I want to make a few announcements. First would be on behalf of the NAACP. We are hosting a debate for state senate, members of state assembly, freeholder at large, and sheriff candidates forum on Thursday. That is tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. I am encouraging all Atlantic City residents to please attend because it's not it's not this particular election is also a gubernatorial election, and that usually happens every 4 years. It's a governor election, for those that don't know that. So there will be, the NAACP will be asking people to join if they're interested. So that's my first announcement. Second announcement, what? December 6th at the MLK Complex at 6 o'clock. The debate, it's at MLK Complex.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And there is, I believe there's a little bit more flyers left. But again, I don't know who's going to be attending, but I did ask that it be an open forum, so I reached out to all the candidates, I tagged them on social media, I asked whoever can attend to please do. So I'm not sure who's all gonna be in attendance, but hopefully we get some good support. So that's my first announcement. My second announcement would be on behalf of the Atlantic City Public Library. They are accepting donations for, and I'll say it in Spanish, it's Voces Unidas por Puerto Rico, and they are accepting donations, and I have the paperwork here, it's in English, so I have brought both. So whoever wants to support the efforts in helping Puerto Rico get back on their feet, please feel free to look at these flyers, and I'll leave them in the front. And you can see what is needed, and they were gonna, all the donations made to the Atlantic City Library, they're going to be sending them directly to the people of Puerto Rico. Okay, third announcement would be, the Atlantic City Public Library also has a, I believe, hold on, because I don't want to misquote this. Okay, here we go. So there's just some information in regards to the New Jersey Construction Bond Act. So I just have some information that you can read. It's also available in the Atlantic City Library. And it just talks about, it's in support of the public library. And this goes into helping the Atlantic City Public Library to sustain the facilities that have the cost, create more jobs, such as construction needed to complete these projects at the Atlantic City Library. And my last announcement on behalf of Ms. Darlene was actually for those who can attend on December 9th to attend the tribute to Senator Jim Whalen. It's also an honorary dinner. You need to contact Darlene or Derma. Their phone numbers are 609-271-2967. The event is at the All Wars Memorial Building. It's from 7 in the evening to 11 o'clock at night. And again, that's on Saturday, December 9th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, do I need to turn this off, or is it on? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, the public portion is closed. Okay. All right, take a 5-minute recess.
We're back in session.
Listen.
Good evening, Council President, Council Members, Mayor. First, let me talk about Browns Park, because I was just getting some information from Stephen Young. He can't come back up here and speak about this. That the swing in Browns Park has been broke for 3 months. Is that true, Councilman? Is that true, Public Enemy number 2? In the playground, the swing has been broke for 3 months. And it is a hazard to the children if it is broke. And we need to try to get that fixed. I'm not sure why, if it's being patrolled by the police, that they didn't notice that it's broke, because that is it's a hazard to the children, and it's also a hazard to the city if somebody gets hurt on that swing. Now, Public Enemy number 2. You received a complaint concerning the exclusive building. What you should have done okay. What you should have done was contact her and tried to work something out with her. Maybe she didn't know that the children were too loud or whatever was going on there. When I was the third ward council, I had complaints from the neighbors that were there concerning the trucks that were over there making a lot of noise in the evening. And people couldn't sleep. What I did was, I went and spoke to the owner and asked him to do something about the noise level, which he has, and he did do something about it. So conversations need to take place before you try to remove our children from a building that they desperately need. We are the protectors here. So you had a job to do, and again, you did not do it for our children. Thank you.
Anyone else? You got next. You're next.
Hello, Council, general audience. As president of Friends in Action, I must say, being in the community, it's kind of disheartening to hear what's happening to some of the organizations. Considering so many things that we have done, and we've been blessed, that we hear that some of the organizations that are doing such fine work as well is having these kind of troubles. You know, our children are, the lifeblood of the future of a city, as our seniors are. And everybody knows that when it comes to an event, we work tirelessly for our seniors and our children. For those of our council that have supported us, thank you. But when you hear a situation like this that's happening with our young, it really should touch your hearts to say, I'm like, hey, how did this ever happen? Because we do see that there are a few of us that are still keep struggling and keep trying. The thing about a nonprofit organization, you understand something, it's one person's, feeling and vision. And then to get a few more people to get behind them to make it a reality. Remind you, they don't have to do it. So when you look around and say, if they are not doing it, nobody else is. When I look at Friends in Action, I think of everything that we do, and my secretary's here. Think about it, I'm like, hey, it is my passion that whatever I do for the community is because that's how I was raised. Come from New York City, we had community things that we did together. And that passion that's within me, I've chosen board members that have the same passion. And we keep giving. These individuals that are out here with these organizations keep giving. They don't have to. When you take it away from our residents, our seniors, our children, then what happens next? Because your gentlemen are limited. And I remind everybody, my partner, Mo, Frank, George, those are all that stood with me, Speedy, Marty, y'all stood with me. And with everything that we've done, y'all have stood with me. If we step back, there's very little that y'all can do as an elected official. In your capacity, you can only go so far. The organizations take it the rest of the way. So if we stop, the residents have nothing to go beyond what's within their power. So encourage all of y'all, when you hear something like this, think of the fact that they don't have to do it. Because trust me, I'm tired. I have been running with Friends in Action now for 6 years straight. We have not missed a beat. We do 10 to 12 citywide events. Do you know how hard it is to do one? Mo can attest to that, like, hey, Speedy, Sporty, y'all can attest. When you came out there, and I was the Highgate Tenant Association president, how we did it on a small scale. And now we take on a whole city. And thanks to y'all, y'all make it possible to service a whole city. Well, keep up the work, fellas. Because these organizations still need your help. As I do, they do too. Thank you for the audience for listening to me. Understand, we got a hard fight to win. With your support, their support, our children will never be left behind.
Speak as loud as you can.
Peace and greetings. How you doing?
Your name, please.
Well, my name is not important. Community supporting.
Name for
Say
the
it again. No, you have to put your name on
Name
there.
on it? Hakeem. I have a question for you, council. What is power?
Which one?
What is power? Power. 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 I have a request. What is power? Can anybody give me an answer?
Your question doesn't pertain to a subject, so you may want to just continue on.
All right, well, I'll define the word power. Power is the people, and people put people in seats, like councilmen, politics. And I, myself, have a nonprofit organization that's dealing with the community. That's about redeveloping and also group economics. And I'm seeing a segregation between the neighborhood and also the city as well, because I thought the city and the neighborhood was supposed to be one and the same. I see the facade growing different outlets, like you have Arctic Avenue, Pacific Avenue. Different things have different images, but they have an inequality as well. Like the north side of Atlantic City. And let's say about certain parts of Atlantic City are not equivalent or equal to us being one. So I hear a lot of people that are very frustrated with your councilmen in politics. And as me being in a nonprofit organization, I was wondering if anybody wants to team up and to redevelop the community and circulate money into the community. And our actions are a reflection of us. And I see that people are very frustrated, and also too, they're tired. And the only option and ultimatum politics are showing us is we have to do for self. And that's the only thing we can do. And at the end of the day, we only can circulate our money and stay with our people in our community. Because at the end of the day, we keep running to you guys, but here's the thing though, one thing about power, we have the power because we put you in power. It's not, you know, uncommon, it makes sense. And for others it don't, because at the end of the day, they keep running to the people in politics that the people put them in seats.
Thank you. All right. If anyone else needs to speak, please rise up.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Well, my name is King Jones, K-I-N-G, Jones. I want to thank the folks that are really trying to make a difference. Heck, I want to thank the ones that are not, because they're inspiring me to go forward. That kid right there, that young man right there, they are here because they care. They really want to make a difference. They want to see some things change. They're not on a witch hunt. None of us are. We just know what we need. We're just looking for the basic tools to survive. That's all we ask. And I'm not here to accuse anyone or point any fingers. I'm here to appeal to you, to ask you, please. What we are doing, certain things we may not be able to do, we may not understand how to do it. We need your help. We need your help. We need your strength. We need your experience, your education, your guidance. We want to save these kids because we need these kids. That's a future leader. That's a future leader. These are very strong men now, and they're just kids. We need them. We need them. One day, we're going to be on canes, wheelchairs, the whole nine. We don't want to be put in the corner and shunned by these kids that we need and we're going to need. Keep acting like we don't need them, You already know what's gonna happen. And see, one day I talked to a man who was running for office. I don't recall what it was a long time ago. And I said, why is it that a lot of politicians don't care about kids? He gave me 3 words. Kids can't vote. That broke my heart, and I never forgot that. But we got a chance now to do right. So, in closing, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruby Condi. I just have one question. Why isn't there a crossing zone where the kids got to cross from village to the playground? There's little kids running back and forth. People speed down the street and nobody cares. The cops is there, they don't do anything. That's a shame.
So you're speaking about a crossing zone from the First Village to Brown Park?
Yes.
They should actually put an MLK too, so
Yes.
Yeah. Well, whatever playgrounds, wherever there's a playground, it should be a crossing area for the kids to cross to and from.
And speed bumps.
Okay, Director Finch, can you get the engineer to look into that, please?
Yes. Paint some lines on it.
Do a pink and yellow there.
I mean, that's a busy street.
Absolutely.
Especially fresh hours,
People
everybody.
leaving the city. Well,
We'll triple the fine over there. That's right.
Get a blink and yellow, 15 miles an hour.
Ms. Conley, can you please talk to Director Finch so he knows the exact location that you're talking about?
Should be before the block.
Mr. President, if I may, just with regard to Browns Park, I think everybody knows my passion for Browns Park. Just for the public, I am aware that some of the equipment is damaged in Browns Park, and so is Director Jerkins before he left, and that is being addressed. I'm not sure that it's been 3 months. It's been too long. If it was 3 days or 3 hours for the equipment to be broke. But the reason that it is damaged is because we had a very high number of youngsters using Browns Park, which is positive. We had 5 movies in Browns Park. We had thousands of youngsters who used Browns Park during the summer. We had PAL that had 3 days of activities for 2 months in the summer. We had 3 religious groups that had programs in there. So the park is doing what it's supposed to do. Be a place that people could safely recreate, be a place that children could safely play, be a place that families could safely gather. So I am aware, the administration is aware, they are in touch with the maker of the toys, and I hope that it will be repaired sooner rather than later.
Councilman, the swing is on order at this point.
The swing is, okay.
Yes.
Hey, Council President, I want to say something. There's 2 issues I want to address over my ward. The speeding issue on Fairmount Avenue has destroyed the quality of life of the resident in the Chelsea Village. I asked to do an evaluation of the situation. I was wondering where are we heading? As you know, a sign on the floor, slow down sign. I mean, that's terrific, but we need something else. Another thing is, where's the bulkhead going to be fixed? That's like, I asked that question like 2 months ago. And, you know, it's going to create some liability issues for the city if we don't get that done.
Okay, with regard to the speeding issue on Fairmont Avenue, Director of Public Works, along with the city engineer, is looking at that to determine what the most feasible solution would be. He's also incorporating into that discussion the ACPD. With regard to fixing the bulkhead, we are searching for the appropriate amount of funds to effectuate that repair. In the interim, we've put in place things that would help ensure the safety of the residents. So we are working on that.
Right. I mean the city. I mean, I know the city is low on funding, but is there any? That's one of the most important things. You know, the safety of the residents. I mean, can we allocate any money?
I most certainly agree with you, and it's going through a process because it's not, because it is a bulkhead repair, there's a very specific and detailed process that the city has embarked upon. And in some areas, we've already declared certain areas an emergent situation, which will allow us to move quicker than we would normally move in that regard.
And he's talking about where the car drove through.
I know what you're
Okay.
talking about. You're talking
Yeah,
about
where
that
the car
one
drove through
area?
and went into the water,
Yes,
Chelsea
where,
Belcher.
where we have placed those,
about 25 foot of bulkhead
Yes.
missing.
where we placed those barricades, those concrete barricades.
We can't get that fixed and bill their insurance company, or until we get paid by their insurance company that drove through?
We're actually working on the insurance company of the drivers.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that.
You said about 3-4 months ago that accident happened?
No, 6 months.
I'm not sure.
About April. It's been 6-7 months. And I hope you guys work on it as soon as possible.
Yes,
please.
we are.
Council President, I'd like to chime in. I think what we're having is, we're experiencing a Grand Prix effect throughout the city. A lot of it having to do with people trying to traverse back and forth in and out of the city for work purposes. And it's potentially putting our children at risk. I live right on Kentucky Avenue, right off the boulevard, and people are flying off the boulevard to come into Kentucky Avenue and into the city. Like every other, it seems like, street that comes off the boulevard or the expressway or both pikes. We need to do better to regulate speed. I was unfortunately involved in an accident coming off of MLK, I mean not MLK, in Chelsea Heights. Someone sped and hit me. It was just too congested in the way area. So we have to do better at managing the speed levels in our city. And one thing I'd like to add is that when we just talked about Browns Park, because it's a heavily used park, thank God that it's finally to where it is, and I know it's a lot more that we can add to it. But we have to surround our parks with a perimeter of safety. If we can add some additional lights, if we can do painting of the streets specifically, a certain one, and attach some serious high fines in those areas, maybe we can help with that situation, because we're very lenient in comparison to a lot of shore towns up and down the East Coast. We're very lenient when it comes to our fines and how we monitor things coming in and out. I think we get more upset about upsetting people who are tourists than we are upsetting our own residents. When you have people flying in and out of the town, they're working here, and that's respectful, but we have to ensure that the safety of our residents supersedes that. I'm sorry to inconvenience these individuals trying to come in and out of town, but I think it's a serious, and we're losing our focus. Like I said, when people are coming off of MLK, they're flying down MLK to get the lights so they can leave town. MLK, you know, is a school. It's heavily traversed. At nighttime, we have basketball programs where hundreds of children play every night. And those cars don't care. They try and hit the turn. How many accidents we've had on the pike? Everyone's rushing to leave Atlantic City. And just about every major portion of where the city meets the county road, we have a school or a park. We have to be cognizant of that. Chelsea Heights and the areas right there, people coming off of Wellington go into Chelsea Heights themselves and they speed all kinds up and down the strip. They speed. Or coming around the bend to come into the city. You have a major area that's utilized a lot for these concerts at Bader Field. And you have that ongoing walkway where people from the kids that are coming from the high school walk into town sometimes because it's so close. And you got people speeding coming in and out. We should do more to monitor those areas, to lower the speeds, and Fairmont Avenue is just worse than Pacific Avenue these days.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so small little space and people flying up and down. And lighting has been an issue. We have tons of people that are coming from other areas who don't know the area, and they're causing issues. They're getting in the way, driving in mid lanes because they're fearful of it. Some of the seniors that are still driving take up most of the space that's available. It's a really tight space. So we shouldn't allow the Grand Prix effect to take over these small spaces, we should do what we can to monitor and do a better job at trying to do that. And it also has to do with the fact that there was a clever way of managing the stoplights to ensure that people were able to get out of town in a timely fashion after, I think, 5 or 6. I remember that survey that was done, and that was something that CRDA and this was post the big scare that Atlantic City had about crime rates. And they increased the capacity for vehicles to leave town in certain streets at a faster rate than other ones. So I know we can control the lights, do a better job of making sure that the lights coincide. Like you have the other speedway when you got people coming up and down the island going down towards Longport. People can time it at 37 miles an hour and catch every light. They know this. And then you got some people that just want to be there and they'll double the rate and they speed like crazy. So think about all those people who want to continuously speed. Our areas are not that big. We're not that big of a town to have all these people speeding, and then our emergency vehicles have to go back and forth. The construction vehicles that are involved, the commercial vehicles involved. So traffic is heavy. We shouldn't be speeding as much as we are.
Just a quick comment, and the answer doesn't have to be tonight. What's the paving, I guess, schedule for Adriatic to the Boulevard on New York? Man, you know that's just crazy. Once you by New York Avenue School, and the other one is Kentucky from the Boulevard up to Adriatic. So you don't have to answer tonight, but I want to know if it's paving schedule anytime soon, because they two thoroughfares coming in and going out. And by New York Avenue School, it is treacherous. You might, use your license plate, your fender, whatever the case may be. But it's bad. So,
Councilman, I'll get back to you.
please do.
All right, let's move the agenda.
Good point, Council. Good point.
We're now at ordinances on second and final reading. Ordinance 26 is an ordinance establishing John C. Kelly Lane as the additional name and designation for Adriatic Avenue.
Have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph,
Second.
second by Shabazz. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any questions? Seeing none, call vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Gilliam? I'm sorry, Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
8 in the affirmative. Ordinance 27 is an ordinance to provide for initial name and designation for the corner of Indiana and Grant Avenues as C. Thomas Thatch Way.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Shabazz, second by Marsh. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any questions? Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
8 in the affirmative. Ordinance 29 is an ordinance amending Chapter 230.
28.
Ordinance 28 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 197 of the Code, which regulates parades and assemblies.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any questions?
Can we have a little elaboration, please?
It just gives some information about how we, when people have parades, assemblies, what they have to do.
The protocol to do so?
Your protocol, yes.
Okay, because just not to impede on this, because I know it's necessary, but we also have to do is something to reinforce that boardwalk. Those
You mean
boards.
physically?
Yes, physically, because those boardwalks, I tripped 5 times in a 2-block radius in front of the convention center.
I agree.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So we have to do what we can, but, yeah, we need to.
That's public works. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with you.
All right, call.
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
8 in the affirmative. Ordinance 29 is amending Chapter 233-2B, regulating taxi stands.
Move it.
Moved by Randolph,
Second.
second by Shabazz. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Questions? Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
Randolph.
Yes.
Shabazz.
Yes.
Tibbet.
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
8 in the affirmative. And we have ordinance 30, and this is dedication of rights of way.
Move it. Second.
She hadn't read it, I know.
No. She ain't read it, but, okay, moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz.
I told you about moving so fast. I'm not going.
It was right, Shabazz moved it, right?
Yes.
Moving fast.
Any questions from the public? Mark, maybe you have to stand up.
Is that an organization?
No.
Rights of way, it's not rights of passage.
No,
that's
no,
what
it's not
it
right
was.
space. It's
Okay.
right of way.
Right of
Just,
way.
just expanding the sidewalks.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if it's an organization
no,
or is it an
it's not
actual
organization.
right of way?
Right of
And
way.
where
Right
is
of
it?
way.
Is there a location or what is that?
It's in the ordinance, yes. It's
Okay.
in the-
MLK in Mississippi.
MLK in Mississippi?
Mississippi. Yeah.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any questions? Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang.
Yes.
Delgado.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
Randolph.
Yes.
Shabazz.
Yes.
Tibbet.
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 8 in the affirmative.
All right, Paul, let me take this over, and please, okay? I would like to have a motion to group ordinances on first reading, resolutions, new business, and executive session. Let me try.
So moved.
Second.
I'm joking about the executive session.
I know she's doing that too.
All right, but y'all with me though, right?
Yeah.
All right, just a motion to group ordinances on first reading, regular resolutions, and new business. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by, but you made a motion without me saying, may I have a motion?
Yeah.
See, you fast again, third.
Move it fast. Move it, Marty.
All right, moved by Randolph.
So noted. Second. Can I second it?
That's debatable. Second by Shabazz.
Motion of parliamentary procedure. I want to be certain that through our solicitor, that we can move in such bodies of information at one time.
This is the regular one. I was joking about executive session. This is what we always do. I just added executive session to see was anybody paying attention.
That's just attempt at humor because the Eagles
Yeah,
won.
just making sure everybody's paying attention.
Because the Eagles won, that's why he did that.
Excuse me, when you address my team, you say the first place, #1 seed in the NFL, 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles, all right? Thank you. Councilman Tibbet.
I'm good, thank you.
Councilman Chang. Come on, Jamie.
Okay, I would like to co-sponsor 555, 556, 557. Yeah, I'm a no vote for 13C.
All right, so Kurtz.
I want to register a no vote on 13B, like boy. And then under administration, number 464. I'm registering a no vote on both of those. I had given the clerk a list of things I wanted to co-sponsor. And I'd like to add on to that number 542. It's on the new business. I'd like to co-sponsor 542. And that's all.
Thank you, sir. Marsh. Randolph. Shabazz. Delgado.
I'd like to register a no for 542, 572, 570, 571. I'm sorry, I'm looking for legal contracts. 547,
A no vote?
no vote. 543, no vote. I don't see anything else. Yes, thank you.
Marty, I'm sorry. You got anything?
Yep. First reading 13C, no. $464, $540.
Are those no votes?
No, those are,
Pulled?
yes.
464.
540, 541, 566.
Council President, I have to abstain from 572.
Okay, just let it be noted for the record.
Yeah, Paul, I abstain from 572.
At the advice of the solicitor, we're going to pull 540, 541, and 566 at this time.
Okay. No problem.
All right, that's it, Paul.
They're being pulled.
This grant program is called BART.
Gilliam just called? You just called, Council
Yeah,
President just called.
body on.
Who would have thought about that? BART. These guys are overworked, man.
All right, we're ready.
1 second.
Is it? Okay. So we will be voting on first reading ordinances 13A, and that is a designation of Boston Avenue as Palmentary Purple Heart Highway, and that's just a revision of the original ordinance 47 of 2015. Ordinance 13B is an ordinance to remove barriers to stable housing to promote successful reintegration for formerly incarcerated criminals. 13C is an ordinance to amend Code Chapter 79, Section 7, and this is regarding ABC fees as they pertain to distribution licenses, to bring them up to code. Ordinance 13D is an ordinance amending Chapter 57 in the tax division. Ordinance 13E. Ordinance 13E is to provide for an additional name and designation for Vermont Avenue after Village Champ. Council President, we good with that?
Yes.
And 13F is an ordinance for the acquisition of property located at 1516 Belfield Avenue. Resolutions 570, 571, 572, 576, 545, 550, 551, 554, 555, 556, 557, 558, 559, 560, 565, 567, 568, 577, 578, 580, 536, 543, 546, 547, 549, 552, 569, and 579. New business will be ordinance 13E and 13F I already read. 581 is a condolence for Dr. Godfrey Bartlett. 582, recognizing Princess Inc. 583, recognizing Reverend Collins A. Days on his 23rd anniversary. 585, recognizing Florence Goldsmith on her 103rd birthday. 586, accept a high bid for land premises from auction. And 587, an agreement with Atlantic City Police Foundation to accept donation of property. We have no votes registered. 13C, Councilman Gilliam.
Yes. Can I add a no for 568?
So that's 13C, no vote for Councilman Gilliam, Resolution 568. No vote, Councilman Tibbet, did you vote? Or was that Councilman Chang? 13C, Chang, I'm sorry.
And 13C, no for me also.
Also.
Me too.
13C for Tibbet, Chang. I'm sorry, who else said me too?
Me too.
Delgado. No vote on Resolution 464, Councilman Kurtz. No vote, Councilman Delgado, 542, 570, 572, 571, 547, and 543. Co-sponsors, Councilman Chang, 555, 556, 557. Co-sponsors, Councilman Kurtz, 570, 571, 554, 555, 556, 557, 580, 552, 579, 567, and 542. Abstention, Councilman Marsh on 572. Full resolutions will be 540, 541, and 566.
No, we pulled 540.
540, 541, and 566 are all pulled. Yes. Chang.
Yes.
Delgado.
Yes.
Gilliam.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
Randolph.
Yes.
Shabazz.
Yes.
Tibbet.
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative with the exceptions.
Bless you.
Thank you.
4. That's 4 negatives on 13C. Ordinance does pass. Okay, so resolution 464 was pulled by Councilman Gilliam. This is a resolution expressing opposition to legislative proposals regarding Open Public Meetings Act and Open Public Records Act.
Move it.
Second. Moved by Gilliam, second by Shabazz.
I'm just trying to, get educated on what were the changes that we're opposing to.
Does this have to do with the move that's been taking place where the Open Public Records Act has been attacked and they're trying to create more of a privacy situation where the executive decisions can be made without being open? I think that's the move that's going on legislatively, and I think that's what we're moving on, if I know it correctly. Is that the case?
That's at least part of it. There are, I think, 3 components. That's part of it. The other part of it is there is...
Talking to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. There is an effort to impose extra duties upon the municipal clerks in terms of timing and the volume of materials. There's also an effort, and I think it is in this bill, to impose sanctions upon a municipal clerk for not following through with particular items.
So that I'm clear, is it something that prohibits the public from getting the information that they're asking for on timeliness? And if we don't get it to them on time, we're fined by the state or something of that nature?
Yeah, as I understand it, the bill does not prohibit, I don't think it adds to the amount of material that anybody can get. You can still get the same things under Oprah. I think what it does, if I'm not incorrect, is it changes some of the timing parameters. It also opens up some of the areas that were once protected in some of the deliberations of council, as I understand it.
I'm understanding it a little differently from what I saw, the discussion from the congressional side. The move is actually to create a cloak of protection to municipal bodies and any bodies above that in government by creating another layer of protection, per se, to say that certain documents will not be available. So it's, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, forgive me, because I think the case is that they're trying to increase the amount of documents that will not be opened or available to be opened. And the process itself is going to be, to get it satisfied, it's going to be a little bit more arduous, both on the person filling out the Oprah and then the clerk who's supposed to receive the Oprah itself, to create much more of a delay.
I think we're saying the same thing. It's creating, in other words, it lays out a number of, it lays out and clarifies the type of minutes that have to be taken, lays out and clarifies time periods, which I think are shorter than the existing time periods.
Who busted it in? Is this something that council did or the administration put in?
This is from the state legislature.
Yeah, there's a bipartisan bill from Senators Loretta Weinberg and Joseph Panaccio, so a Democrat and a Republican that teamed up on this bill, or two bills. Looks like there's a number of entities that are opposing it, which is what this resolution proposes. I've registered already a no vote. I happen to like these two bills. I think along with the New Jersey Foundation for Open Government, as well as My Central Jersey, I believe it is, did an editorial on this. This revisits the Open Public Records Act and the Open Public Meetings Act, which haven't been adjusted to modern times in a number of years. And I actually see these bills as a step forward for transparency. And with complete respect to some of the people in various administrative capacities around the state, our first and foremost obligation with regard to public information is to shed the light of transparency on it. And I think that that should be more of the focus when we're looking at laws that govern transparency. And I'd offer that for my colleagues' consideration this evening.
So this was your baby?
No, actually, I didn't sponsor this.
Okay.
I read it, and those are my thoughts on it.
I would just like to get a sentiment on how this would affect the clerk's office from their perspective. How does this help or hurt you guys in any manner?
Actually, Councilman, I would actually have to read the bill. Right now, Oprah is an extreme burden. It could actually be its own department, in all honesty. We process about 80 Oprahs a month. There's a lot that goes into an Oprah. There's a lot of follow-up.
Right.
I don't know what the bill says. I was hoping that our solicitor might be able to shed a little more light on it.
It's pretty comprehensive. I could have to go through quite a bit of it.
So because we want to make sure we're not doing anything, in my opinion, to hurt or add an extra burden on the clerk's office, right? And we can't really get a true legal opinion because our solicitor hadn't gotten an opportunity to vet it.
Well, no, I can tell you how it affects the clerk's office, actually. What it does is, for example, the time
Did you
period.
just say that you weren't?
No. As far as the clerk's office, I can certainly tell you that. There are a lot of sections, and I actually can tell you what's in the bill, but it's pretty comprehensive. As far as the clerk's office, what it does is it reduces the time periods for which they have to respond to certain items. For example, one of them reduces it by, there is a substantial reduction, and I'll pull up that particular section.
What I can tell you is that we were urged to present this resolution. The Municipal Clerks Association of New Jersey Executive Board members reviewed the bills and find that they cannot support them. So
That's what your fellow clerks
the clerks of the Association of New Jersey.
Okay.
Unedited recordings, the time goes down to 5 days that they have to have them produced. And what happens also is that the fines go up for all the violations, whereas they used to be $100 violations. They're $250, as well as allowing now for prevailing party to get attorney's fees when these things are not adequately provided.
Mr. Solicitor, could I ask you if you know, or the clerk, did the League of Municipalities take a position on this legislation?
I'm not aware.
No, do you know, Paul?
All I can tell you is the email I received from the Municipal Clerks Association of New Jersey.
It's
The
against
League
it.
will be discussing it at the conference, yes.
So
They
your
opposed,
colleagues,
Councilman.
They
Sorry to
did.
interject, I just happen to know they opposed.
The League did oppose.
I believe so.
Thank you, Tim. Mr. Cunningham.
I think it'd be prudent for us to really understand the impacts and move forward with the impacts. Right now, I think because it may be a little infantile in its growth right now, at least for our awareness-wise, maybe we should know a little bit more about it, but be adamant to be aware about it and be prepared to address it as need be.
Councilman, would you like me to provide you with a general memorandum on that for all the council members and maybe?
Can you, from a legal standpoint?
I can.
I greatly appreciate it, because I know this is growing, and a lot has to do with the fact that there's so much buildup, and I know the Oprah process has gotten tremendously difficult internal-wise because of the state involvement, of course, with the takeover, and then all the other issues with our debt and all this stuff, so there's a lot of people inquiring specifically about that. And, you know, it's really difficult for them to meet the standards, and then the extra layer that was added onto the onion of bureaucracy, and you know, there's a lot being involved. So we have to be certain that we have to provide in my opinion. We have to be forthright in everything that we do, making sure that everything is out in the open and available for everyone to peruse, without infringing on anyone's personnel data, as we've been done before, certain things that have to be protected, anything, transactions that the city and the state is involved as far as Atlantic City is concerned. I think everyone should be aware about every aspect of it if possible.
All right, so we'll pull it to the next meeting.
Councilman Smalls, just, you guys can look up, between now and the next meeting, you'll see the intent of Oprah, which is a good thing to keep everything open and be able to get all your records. But you'll see more and more in this state and many other states that you have people that use this as a weapon against municipalities and just pile on as much as they can. The more angry they get about you voting no on a permit or something, you know, so to cut their time on, yeah, you can't stop it, but to ask them to do it in even less time than they have now becomes very burdensome to them when they got to do everyday business.
Maybe we can do a bureaucratic stalkers initiative
Yeah.
and hit them for that, you know, people stalking the bureaucracy and trying to make it even worse. Get them for that.
Shocked how many people scream.
All right, so we pulled it.
Okay. Resolution 464 is postponed until the next council meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to executive session.
May I have a motion? Moved by Shabazz. Second by Marsh.
Okay, we have 3 items. A, Edward Woods versus City of Atlantic City. B, Lily Blake versus City of Atlantic City. And C, Guy Katinga versus City of Atlantic City. Chang? Chang?
Jimmy? Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Gilliam?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small?
Yeah, no.
No? 8 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. About how long?
8 minutes.
Council President, we're back on the record. We have 3 resolutions after executive session. Settlements.
Got Jimmy fired up.
562, authorize a settlement for Edward Woods. So are we grouping them or individually?
No. I have a motion to group the executive session settlements.
So moved.
Moved by Gilliam, second by Shabazz. Call vote.
Okay, this is resolution 562 for Edward Woods, 563 Lily Blake, 564 Guy Katinga.
Yes.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Gilliam?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
No, yeah, I'm just, yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small?
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative.
Motion to adjourn.
So, Speedy, he's finished for the year, right?